All right, we are going live right now. I'm sorry for the little bit of a delay. Had a project that we were originally going to be using 2 Fronius inverters on, and I'm going to be showing off this project when the installation comes up, either later this month or December. And I'm going to be showing off this contractor. This electrician is top notch. Really excited to be part of this project with him. But yeah, apparently the Fronius Primo inverters do not meet UL 74 SB or 1741 SB. So yeah, and they were like, we're ready with your plans, but we're just realizing like these aren't on the CEC approved list, so you might have problems. And they're like, what do you want to do? And I'm like, well, I guess we're switching to Tesla solar inverters. Go figure. Give it to Tesla, because Fronius, you know, on their standard equipment isn't meeting all the appropriate certifications. Anyways, this video today is about live streaming solar quotes. So that's what we're going to do specifically for the San Diego area. I do apologize for the 5-minute delay in getting this started. So let's jump over to the desktop where I think it's froze. Yeah, my mouse isn't there. So hang on, let me get that going real quick. Chrome. I click on a house. No, it's still not doing it. It annoys me because sometimes it does it and then it doesn't. I'm gonna click on dock. Okay, dock, and then Google Chrome. Okay, we're good now. We're back on Google Chrome. So let's go full screen. Boom. Here we go. Nice and clean. So we're in the San Diego area, which is San Diego Gas and Electric, which, mind you, San Diego Gas and Electric is some of the highest rates in California. I mean, I think it's them and PG&E are like neck and neck, but honestly, SCE is getting pretty close to having some pretty high prices. In the winter, surprisingly, that's when Edison's rates are actually higher than SDG&E and PG&E. So if you haven't made the switch to clean renewable energy, the tax credit's expiring at the end of this year. The probability of you getting your system installed isn't super high, to be honest, but you know, that doesn't mean you shouldn't still be considering it. So I got live streams for the rest of the month and next month scheduled, and we're going to basically just be going over systems in different cities, and I'm going to just build out some quotes. I'm using Axia by QCell or Energy Service Partners for the pricing. I will have this new contractor in my pricing tool later, so in one of those videos we'll be adding this electrician in there. I was talking to another organization about onboarding with them, but they haven't emailed me, so you know, no harm, no foul. But it'll be interesting to see what happens in the industry. I did see a recent post on LinkedIn from someone, and they said, like from 2009 to 2015, there was like over 5,600 solar contractors. By the end of like 2020, there was less than 2,600 contractors. So we're probably going to see another drastic reduction in how many contractors actually do this type of work, especially those that are only do solar. I've been focused on reaching out to electricians and working with them to get them familiarized with the technology and get them onboarded with different manufacturers and help them with pricing. So if you're a contractor that specifically specializes in electrical, reach out to me. I have a decade of experience in all the administrative processes, as well as in the sales and the marketing. I can definitely help your organization understand the technology, get you onboarded with the right organizations, so that way you can not only just service this equipment as it needs servicing like any electrical equipment, but also sell it and install it. Maybe put it on your own home, or you've got clients that have been bugging you about getting solar or batteries for themselves and they want to work with you, and you just haven't taken that initiative yet because it's a different industry. I get it. So I'm here to help you and make you feel more comfortable, and I can come out to job sites. I have a whole pricing thing for that. So let's talk about San Diego and Axia by QCell for this particular reason, because the cost of electricity is just high. So let's start off with a good medium system, small, medium system. What you'll find, since the cost of electricity is more in the San Diego region, is that you don't need as large of a solar system as you might find with someone in the Southern California Edison region, right? In Riverside or San Bernardino County or even Los Angeles County. So it all comes down to that utility rate and what it equates down to in terms of a kilowatt hour usage. So here we have this comp roof right here. This isn't too bad. Looks like they converted the garage. Not a lot of photos, but it doesn't look like there's solar on it. So let's grab this first one and let's jump over to Open Solar, because that's where I do most of my work. In here, I got all my pricing. Oh yeah, we got good orientation on this roof. You see some of the neighbors already have solar, so let's jump in here. We're going to be basing this off of Axia by QCell. So we know the square footage of the home is 2,185, and if we go 3 watts per square foot, that's 6,555 kilowatt hours. So I'm going to just leave it at the default that Open Solar has set for this area, which is 6,684 kilowatt hours. As you can see, it's already configured to San Diego Gas and Electric utility rates, and then it's configured for net metering 3.0. So let's jump into the design. As you can see with Open Solar, I got a great 3D modeling instantly. I don't have to wait or anything. Sometimes it does load a little bit. And we're going to start adding a system. We're using the Qtron 430 watt modules. And let's lay down some glass. Oh yeah, that fits pretty nice right there on the roof. And we don't have really any shading issues. Okay, so 14 panels is about 147% offset. You can see that over here on the left side. That's not too bad. I'm kind of happy with that. We know this is a comp shingle roof, so let's go ahead and go with comp asphalt shingles. And then let's pair it up with the Tesla solar inverter, which is the Powerwall 3. We want to go Powerwall 3. And we'll compare it to a microinverter configuration as well. Axia has their Qtron module in DC and AC format, so you can do QCell AC micros, which are pretty nice. And then you get a better warranty, you know, because it's all under one umbrella from Axia. So Powerwall 3 main unit. We're just going to do one Powerwall. We have a 6 kilowatt solar system, right? Yeah, 6 kilowatts. That's not too bad at the end of the day. For this system. Now I do have the chat open, so if you have any questions, feel free to just jump in there, ask a question. If you want your house to get a quote right now, just let me know. Just send it in on the chat, or you can just visit renewableinnovations.org. You can, go ahead and do that. Just go to the website link, reinnovations.org, click contact, and voila, you can request a free quote. If you need a paid consultation because you already have some quotes, I do that as well as a third party. I'm happy to review those quotes and make sure that what you're purchasing is what you want. If you got like 3, 4, 5 quotes from different installers and you want someone to help review it and narrow it down, I do a little bit more research. I look up the company's CSLB licenses, I check their reviews, and I ask around a little bit to figure out if they're a good organization and if they will be here the long term. If they're not, I've done some past videos which you want to probably subscribe, so that way you don't miss out on them. But it's always good to have a game plan in case the installer goes out of business, because after that tax credit's gone, we're likely to see the solar industry see a bit of a slowdown, and it's going to affect a lot of organizations, local and large, local businesses, medium businesses, large businesses. I mean, it's going to affect all of them in some way or another. Many of them will be pushing PPAs or leases once the tax credit's gone, so that'll be their go-to financing option. If you don't want that and you want cash, reach out to me at Renewable Innovations, right? Just go up there. So we got the Powerwall. We're going to do the backup switch, because guess what? The backup switch is approved in San Diego's territory. So let's go to Tesla. We got backup switch, BKS. And this is all being built right in the quote live. So we got one Powerwall option, and let's switch this over to microinverters. So we go Q cells, microinverters. Bam. And then we still have the Powerwall, but it's going to be AC coupled. If you do an AC coupled system, I don't think you have to go with the gateway. So you typically see a little bit more cost associated with it because of that. But let's go ahead and add that in there. Tesla backup gateway for the AC coupling. So we have Powerwall, AC coupled, Powerwall, DC coupled. I strongly recommend just going the DC coupled route. It's so much easier, super freaking clean. No complaints with that at all. And then what we're going to do is go under Other and Add, because we have to put in the sub panel. Sub panel backup. Okay, so that's all good. I don't think we're missing anything else. We got the modules, we got the inverter, we got the battery, we got a backup switch, we got everything we need. So let's hit recalculate. I'm going to be showing cash pricing, but I do have financing options available thanks to NFIN, which is part of QCell's family. So you can have it installed by QCell, you can have QCell products, and you can even have QCell financing. We also have NFIN for the leasing and PPA options if you want that. That'll be around until the end of 2026, as that's when the tax credit for third-party ownership is set to expire. So keep that in mind. You know, you'll see some organizations staying a little bit that have those options available to them. Not a lot of local businesses do, so if they're not onboarded with a leasing organization now, it'll be interesting to see how it pans out long term. So here we go. We got the Powerwall DC coupled at $29,000. Grid independence, 99%. Remember, we kind of went oversized. We went pretty much to the max, 150%. I recommend, being in that range, right, between 120 to 150% under NEM3, and then you want at least one Powerwall 3 or around 15 kilowatt hours of storage. So if you went with an A Power 2, we could do that as well. Now, if you go AC coupled, the price went down. That's weird. Oh, it went up. It went up $800. It went up $750. It's because you have some more equipment involved. So yeah, you can see you're going to have a sub panel. You're going to really just end up with partial home backup instead of being able to use that backup switch, which will give you whole home backup. If you need an electrical panel upgrade, there would be some added cost to this, but it's important to note with Axie by QCell, it's only $3,500, which is pretty reasonable. Now there could be some extra costs for stucco repairs or if you have an overhead service, so it could be closer to $4,000 or $5,000. The industry average for most electricians, if you gave them a call, is going to be somewhere between $5,000 and $7,000, for an electrical upgrade. So when you're going solar, getting a battery system, usually those organizations are reducing that cost and almost doing it at cost for you. So you got QCell's microinverters, so you got module level monitoring, though honestly there's no shading going on this array. As you can see, the solar production doesn't change much, right? We're at 10,007 kilowatt hours with the DC coupled Powerwall, and we're at 10,306 kilowatt hours with the AC coupled system. So you're getting about 300 kilowatt hours more in solar generation. But remember, now you're having to convert that energy, that AC energy, back into DC to store in the battery. So that round trip efficiency kind of eats into that extra production, and it ends up being a wash at the end of the day. So you might as well just keep it DC coupled, make it simple, and there's nothing really to complain about with that. So we have the system performance right here, and we can see in our proposal, if you got a quote by visiting the website, you would be able to have this tailored specific to your homes. If you want more power walls, if you whatever you want, I can definitely assist you with it. So, and you got a pretty good range going on. And right now, 29,000. Like I said, with the tax credit, expiring in less than 60 days. It's pretty hard for any organization to promise that the system's going to be installed before that date. And the big thing with that tax credit is that the system needs to be installed and operational. And usually you want to have your inspection completed. It's okay if the PTO isn't done, if you don't get permission to operate from the utilities, but it would be ideal to have permission to operate, have your inspection done, have the system operational, have it installed, have it done. It's just engineering departments are backed up, generating plans, jurisdictions, depending on which one you are in, are backed up. I mean, it's chaos for the end of the year because this is really the end of the tax credit. It's been extended several times and it's finally got on that chopping block and it's been nixed. So if you haven't made the switch, don't worry, the cost of renewable energy has been coming down year over year. I don't foresee it coming down any more than it is right now. To be honest, it's probably going to go up. And it has to do with tariffs being imposed and domestic manufacturing on the rise. So as manufacturers make more of their products domestically, it does increase the cost. Maybe they're able to avoid the tariffs in some areas. It'll be interesting to see how things progress in the space over the next 12 to 24 months. But it's important to note that Tesla recently announced, literally like today, I saw it on either X or LinkedIn, that they are offering customers $500 back per Powerwall up to 2. So you can get up to $1,000 back for getting your solar system installed by a Tesla certified partner. So Axie by QCell would qualify for that. If you went with Energy Service Partners, that would qualify for that. If you went with one of my other electricians, you have to be a Tesla certified partner in order to even buy the equipment. So you would qualify for that with one of the other electricians that I work with. So yeah, that's good news for you at the end of the day, because you can have a kick-ass system and Tesla's gonna send you money back for buying a Tesla solar system and getting that Powerwall. So like I said, it's $500 per Powerwall. It doesn't have to be the main unit. It can be an expansion battery as well. So you could get a main unit and an expansion battery and still get $1,000 back. All you have to do is once your system's installed, you have to register it and then upload a copy of your contract. That's it, from my understanding. So it'll all be in your Tesla app in order to do that. So yeah, technically with Tesla's little rebate they got going on, you could get $1,000 off of this price. So you're looking at $28,000. That's not too bad. Now keep in mind, pricing is going to vary depending on where you live, your circumstances with your home. There's a lot of variables here, but this is some general pricing I want to provide so you have something. Of course, if you reached out and got a quote by visiting the website, we would be able to kind of narrow it down. Now, what were we estimating the old bill to be under SDG&E? $260. Yeah, no joke. And this ain't a lot of energy we're talking about, right? They were using 6,684 kilowatt hours is what we were estimating. That's not a lot of energy. After going solar, their new bill is around $30. Much more reasonable because rates are going to continue to rise. Trust me, it ain't gonna slow down anytime soon. If you think rates are gonna come down, I think you're living in a rock or a pineapple under the sea. I don't know. So, but lifetime savings, even without the tax credit, $74,000 over 25 years. That's not too bad. I know some people might be like, oh, well, the battery is going to crap out before then. Maybe, but what we're finding is that the Powerwalls are very, very well retaining power. And there's a lot of the Powerwall 2s that have been deployed for many years, and you can find Reddit forums where people are saying that they still get close to 100% recharge on that battery. So, 90% or something. So the degradation is not as dramatic as you think. And they do come with a 10-year warranty. If you are concerned about a warranty, there are other battery options available. We got Enphase with a 15-year. We have Q-Cells, Q-Home battery, which also comes with a 15-year. So you could have a complete Q-Cell system if you wanted. You have Q-Cell panels, Q-Cell microinverters, Q-Cell batteries. Get a 15-year warranty on the battery, 25-year warranty on the microinverters, 25-year warranty on the panels, 25-year workmanship warranty on their installation, which is really nice. Most providers only do 10 years, and then they have a bunch of conditions for their 25-year, if they even offer it. So that's one system that we've designed. What's Let's go find one that's a little bit larger here in the San Diego region. That's a 3-bedroom, 3-bath. And it's going to be hard because I feel like a lot of the homes in San Diego are kind of small. $18 million. 12? Wow, I just want to look at this house. That thing is massive. Geesh, are you seeing this? It's nice. I mean, I get it. It's nice. I mean, it's okay. Some things just feel a little too bougie, but hey, man, that's a nice house. It's probably like a second home. I can't see someone just living in it. Maybe. If you're someone that can afford this house, let me know. Are you living in it, or is it just like a second house that you're just putting money into because you got extra money? And yeah, that's nice. That's nice. Ooh, that's nice. Ooh, that's nice. Well, let's see if this thing, this is a big house. Let's put solar on it. Let's see if it already has solar. So this is in San Diego on La Jolla Scenic Drive. And remember, I'm not affiliated with any of these realtors or any of that stuff. So let's drop that in there. Nope, does not have solar. It's going to be a flat roof. That's a big house. That's a big lot too. Kind of. Very tight. They crammed that home in there, huh? So with the square footage of this property, we're going to need to update the, sorry, I hit the wrong button. 12,842 times 3 watts per square foot is 38,526 kilowatt hours. 38,526 kilowatt hours. This is again assuming they're living there. Probably not. Probably could do 2 watts per square foot, but let's do something just ridiculous. I don't even think we're going to be able to fit enough solar on the roof, but we're going to try. We're in San Diego region, NEM3. I don't know why it has Fura selected, but whatever. It's fine. It's fine for this, for just giving you quotes and just showing you like a, oh my goodness. It pulled open. That's what was there before, people. So we definitely don't have the most recent one. So what we're going to do is Google. We're going to add the actual one, which didn't even pull up that one. I'm kind of confused on why. Google Top, maybe Google Top. There we go. See, I just going through different maps. You know, if you were this person that owned this home, I would be paying for Near Map. For the sake of this video, I'm not paying for Near Map for you, you know, just to put the quote together. We can do it off of this. So we're going to get rid of the 3D. So we got the top view. This is a big house. It's important to note when you're doing a flat roof, you have to keep 3 feet away from a lot of different things. So what we're going to do is single tilt. The slope is going to be like 5 degrees. Relative tilt, 1 through 5 degrees. And we're probably going to try and do landscape. I'm trying to face it all north. That's what's nice about this. And as you can see, I got plenty of clearance on the sides. I can't really tell if there's a pergola. I think there might be a pergola on this. We have Schoolboy 05. I heard there will be a lot of solar companies going out of business because the solar credit going away. How will warranties work? Well, good question. There was actually, I did a video a while back, a couple weeks back, talking about this. And warranties from the manufacturers aren't going away. These manufacturers aren't going away. Your installer is going to go away. And the only thing that's really going to disappear with them is that workmanship warranty. A lot of them don't really provide a service warranty. So that means if you did have an issue with the equipment that wasn't related to workmanship, they're not going to cover it anyways. So the workmanship warranty just has to do with defects in their process of installation, not necessarily issues related to the equipment. So these Q-cell modules, N-phase microinverters, solar edge equipment, Tesla equipment, none of that stuff's going away. Your warranty is still going to be in place. What will likely change is just your roof penetration warranty. If they go out of business, you know, no one's there to, you know, take responsibility and do those repairs, because that's really what the workmanship warranty covers, is those roof penetrations. But if a microinverter goes bad, some will replace it at no cost, right? They'll cover it under like a, you know, a good faith kind of relationship they want to build with you. But many of them, they'll send you a bill. So you would have a bill still. So I'm going to do this under portrait because I can fit more, assuming I could do it. But we got a lot of panels to try and squeeze on this roof. This is going to be tight. But very good question. Very good question. So, and this is just a rough design. It might change. Yeah, I probably wouldn't be able to do that row because I don't have any room up there. I don't even think I'd be able to do these panels. They probably have to be offset. But there we go. We got 3 feet right here. All right, so we're on the very top of this. We can go right there, though. That's a tight array. And then we got a lot of room right here. So where are we at? We're at 70%, and we're up to 38 panels. I think you're going to be blown away at what the cost of this bill would probably be. Now, actually, I'm going to delete this one. So since I sent some parameters on it being a flat roof, I'm going to actually duplicate this array and drag it to another roof plane so I don't have to re-enter that data. Now this just looks like a valley right there, so I should be okay. It looks like there's like a vent. All right, so let's see it recalculate. We're up to 59 panels. We're at 109%. We probably want a little bit more. Well, you know what? We don't even know how much energy. If someone was living here regularly, I could see them probably using close to 40,000 kilowatt hours. But if you're not living here, it's a vacation home, you're probably not there as much. Now, with a system this large, we're at 25.37 kilowatts DC. So what we're probably going to want to do, keep in mind the Powerwall is 11.5 kilowatts AC rated. So it does support just about 20 kilowatts of DC energy. So we could fit, you know, most of this on 2. But with a system this large, we're probably going to want to go with 4 Powerwall 3s with the inverters in them, not just expansion batteries, right? Let's just make sure this house has all the power it needs. I know it's going to have some complex stuff, so we're going to be putting in some other things. And then this is a flat roof. It's kind of flat. It looks like it's like rolled asphalt, to be honest. We're gonna go with, we'll go with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 Tesla solar inverters that are integrated in the Powerwall 3s, and then we're gonna grab 4 Powerwall 3s. So we're gonna grab those and go 4 times on that. We're doing DC coupled. We will not be able, I'm pretty sure this system particularly is 400 amps. I don't see how this whole house is on 200 amps. It could be, but it's probably got a bunch of sub panels. So that means this system is going to be split between multiple things. So we're going to do 2 backup gateways. So we'll do 2 gateways. And then what I have to do is I'm going to have to add in under other components, go AXQ and then sub panel. We're going to do whole home, and I'm doing 2 of these because I'm splitting the system in 2, so you understand. So we're going to divide it up 2 Powerwall 3s on each gateway, right, for the Tesla system. So there's 4 Powerwall 3s. The solar is going to be divided between these 4 Powerwall 3s, and there's going to be 2 backing up some of the home, 2 backing up another portion of the home. It's quite a bit of equipment. This is going to be kind of one of those expensive projects that you would, you know, not want to really. Well, I mean, if you can afford $18.5 million, you can afford this. Not that I'm saying anything about that, but I'm like, geez, this is a crazy home. So we're going to do mounting, flat roof, that's a ballast. Yeah, I don't think we'd be able to do ballast. Well, let's go with that one. So there are two types of attachment methods for a flat roof. You can do a ballast racking system, which doesn't use as many penetrations because there's an actual rack that you install and then the modules kind of clip into them. It's weighted down. I don't think it would really work too well on this site. Maybe it really comes down to the structural engineering and then how much of a slope there is. And to me, it looks like, you know, this portion has some of a slope. This one looks pretty flat, but it would just be better to just do normal racking, attach it, maybe give them like a 5-degree tilt. The array layout could change quite drastically once we figure out spacing and putting a tilt on it. I have these pretty close to like no tilt, just to simplify the installation. If you're in Palm Springs, you might see sites where homeowners have flat roofs. A lot of them are flat roofs, and you have a tilt and there's like a little leg that comes up, and then the next row has to be a little bit spaced out, you know, for that panel, right? And then the leg comes up. So instead of them being like touching and touching. So let's go ahead and save. All right, let's get in here. This is going to take a second to calculate. We're just doing one big system. This is going to be installed by Axie by QCell. If you got your quote, you're looking at $124,000 roughly, right? There's no 30% tax credit on this. You would get, with Tesla, that $1,000. They only have it for up to 2 power walls, so that's cool, right? That knocks off $1,000. But this is a massive system. 84% grid independence. We've split the 400 amp that I'm assuming is probably powering this home, so that way the home is divided into subsections with, you know, various sub panels throughout. It's going to be a complicated project. There could be some additional cost to it. There's a lot of variables to this particular style estimate, but I want to at least get a number in front of you and a system design. And then let's see what it all has. So we have 59 QCell high wattage, high performance Qtron modules. These are 430 watts. You know, that's 25.4 kilowatt DC energy. We have 46 kilowatts of AC power available between the 4 Powerwall 3s. That's a lot of power, and it shouldn't have any problems powering the home during the grid outage, but you probably want to like shut the air conditioners off. I mean, in San Diego, you probably aren't running them in the first place. So if you are, I could see you running it to heat the pool. Shut that off. If there's a power outage, shut your pool heater off. You don't need to be heating the pool during a power outage. All right, that doesn't make sense. 54 kilowatt hours of storage capacity. So that's a phenomenal amount. We got the flat roof. We got 2 gateways in here. We have 2 200 amp whole home backup systems. This is trying to configure the setup. So that's what those are in there for the cost. I'm sure there's already pre-installed sub panels, but we need to intercept them at various points. This being a very beautiful home, we need to do it right. So 111% of the energy for the home is coming from solar. And as you can see, the belt curve here, you know, good production. Good production. You're exporting 21% to the grid, $124,000. So here's the big question. How much do you think this electric bill is in San Diego Gas and Electric for 36,000 kilowatt hours a year? Right? That's all. We're talking, we need an average. I'm gonna say $1,500, $1,800. It's gonna be right in that range. I'm thinking. Let's see if I'm right. $1,293 a month on average. I was a little over. So if you said $1,200, yeah, I went a little too aggressive there apparently. Now your new bill, $117. That ain't too bad. What is the lifetime savings? Damn near $400,000. So to tell me this isn't a good investment, you're tripping. You're tripping. If you can afford an $18.5 million house, you understand money and you understand the value of saving money. And there are certain things that you can invest in that have a return on investment. This is one of those things that has a pretty good return on investment, even without the 30% federal investment tax credit. Now, if you did get that tax credit, woo, man, you would be super happy, I'm sure. because that would bring down your net system cost. What, that would be about a $34,000 tax credit, $35,000 tax credit. So you're looking at like $85,000. That's not bad. So yeah, 7 years, 7 months is the return on investment there. And then just savings after that. I mean, you're seeing savings right away. From paying $1,300 a month to $100 a month, you were seeing $1,200 a month in savings, you know. Yeah, I mean, $400,000, yeah, that's a lot of savings. But that's how much the electricity cost is in San Diego Gas and Electric. Mind you, this is a massive system where we're estimating it to generate 42,600 kilowatt hours. So Prince, yeah, $400,000, that ain't too bad at all. You know, so this is definitely one of those ones I was trying to find in, like, you know, the Riverside area when I was doing Temecula and Marietta, but you know, this is still plenty good. Yeah, I mean, geez, I'm trying to think like what could make it better, if there's a design to change, if it's worth looking at Qcel's own their battery system for this configuration. I think you would end up with more of them because you need the power given the size of the system. And so the Powerwall kind of has that sweet spot in terms of price, capabilities, storage capacity, and you still have technically room to expand. We could do 3 expansion batteries and just max out the site. And getting approved is a different story. Residential, if it's attached to the home, is usually capped at 80 kilowatt hours. You can usually, you know, finesse some stuff if you're not attaching it to the home. There's some distance, ground mounts, you know, stuff like that. Don't forget, you know, to subscribe to the channel if you're not a subscriber already, because I'm doing these live streams every Wednesday now. We moved it, and then you have videos posting Monday and Friday with little shorts on those as well. So this was a big one. I think we went a little bit bigger than I was expecting to jump to, but I think it's most people aren't going to see a system like this. But if you end up buying this $18.5 million house in La Jolla, look at this thing. This is nice. This is nice. Hit me up. You know, let's get you a great solar system. Make it super clean. Make sure you don't have to worry about a $1,300 a month electric bill. And I'm sure the system can be smaller, especially if you're buying it as a vacation home or a second home and you're only going to be in it 2 or 3 months out of the year. You probably don't need this big of a system. You probably would be fine with maybe a 10 kilowatt solar system, right? And we're talking 25 panels versus 60. So maybe you only need 2 Powerwalls and we only back up some of the home loads. Or maybe you don't do backup at all and we do go with Qcell and we just do self-consumption, because San Diego doesn't have as many power outages as some of the other regions. So yeah, I wonder if like these knickknacks are part of the sale. What do you think? It's interesting. Okay, let's find another house. That one, we went really big there. We need like another one for that people actually, most people will buy. Not just the top 1% of people. This one's $30 million. It's fun doing the $30 million. It's fun doing these large houses. Jeez Louise. Okay, here we go. This one is $4 million, but the square footage is reasonable. We're looking at 3,400 square feet. I have time for one more. We still got another 20 minutes. I try and do the live stream for an hour. So let's grab this. It's, you know, we were looking for the San Diego area. It ends up pulling up a lot of different addresses and whatnot. So yeah, Del Mar is still San Diego. This one's a clay roof. So this is a good one to talk about. So when you have a clay tile roof, we have to do what we refer to as a comp out or a strip and go. There's a couple different terminologies used in the industry. I don't really stick with one or the other, but a comp out makes the most sense. We basically have to come out there with the roofing crew, remove all the tile where the solar is going to be installed. We put down new paper, and then you install composition shingle. Then your solar system gets installed on top of that asphalt shingle. And then the roofer comes back and reinstalls the clay around the solar. So it actually looks like a building integrated photovoltaic system, a BIPV. So what did we say the square footage was? 30,365 times 3. That's 10,095 kilowatt hours. So let's put that in here, 10,095 kilowatt hours. We have SDG&E selected. We have the NEM3 selected. Perfect. Let's go ahead and save. Let's pull open the 3D design. So this is kind of wonky. This one is a complicated design because, as you can see, we have a lot going on the front that it's going to be pretty tough to install some solar. But then we have this back part that I can't really tell if there's any hips and valleys to that. So what I want to do is go to the Google top view, drop in that one. So this is a flat roof section. So we have another flat roof, and this top view actually gave me a little bit better layout of understanding what's going on this roof. So maybe we can fit some good panels on this flat roof section and kind of go from there. Now I want to design it in the 3D model because it will calculate the shading as we're doing it. I prefer to do it in 3D. If I can't do 3D, if you get a quote and I'm not able to get a 3D map, I will use near map. So I pay for 3D modeling as current as I can get it. Near map flies out drones and does all this stuff. This is kind of a wonky flat roof, and got that. Let's do 5 degrees. Yeah, I don't see any other way. It's like I don't see any other way to put those panels, really. I'm trying to think. I think that's the best we're going to do is 7 on that. So then that's going to leave these roofs on this back part, which, man, hitting fire clearances is going to be a little tough. Yeah, we're looking at like 1 panel. Another 1 panel. I mean, the roof looks so large. Yeah, that eats up the space. I mean, we got to keep 3 feet so you can walk around it. I definitely have some room over here for some. So we're going to actually shift this guy back. We're going to kind of get it close over there. We're going to add this one in. And then what I want to do is I should be able to fit, I think, 2 panels over here. I think the 3D modeling, if I move this, oh, no, I can't fit. It's just 1 panel. Maybe 1 and 1. Yeah, okay. This was on this roof. All right, so we can do this. I know they move around. And we'll do this guy on this roof. And then I think I can fit another landscape one, like right here. Yeah, we got walking path right here. You can get around it. You can get around up there, kind of close to that vent. So we're at 82% offset for this property, and we got some roof work we're going to have to do, which, yeah, kind of bites for this. So let's go Tesla solar inverter. We're fine there. We can grab 1 battery. I don't think we need a lot of different batteries for something like this. 1 main unit, backup switch, and then I have some mounting adders for this. So what we're going to want is the flat roof. This is ChemLink. And then we also need, I think I have it under mounting. Corrugated roof, ground mount. We'll see. Okay, comp insert. Okay, so I got the comp insert, and this is a per panel one, so I'm going to actually, we're doing it on 2 panels. So I think that adder usually has a minimum to it, so I think this estimate might be a little off. I think there might be a little bit more costs associated with it. One thing I would do is, this would be a paid consultation. I would come out there, I would look at that roof, measure it out, really try and mock up the array so we had a good design before moving forward with the project and confirming any of the costs. So, but this is a still good one, right? We didn't get to 100% offset. We do have some room on some other locations to maybe, add some panels, but I'm trying to be modest with the price on this site. If we can get you close to 75% grid independence, it's a win. It really is. If you can get 75% and up, it's really hard. Oh, look at that. We're right at 75%. It's once you hit 75%, you're usually in the sweet zone for saving money. You don't always have to go to 100% grid independence. This is a score you want to pay attention to, not how much energy in excess your solar is producing for your solar system. I can't emphasize that enough. This number is no longer relevant under NEM3. Companies that keep that front and center and they're just selling you on kilowatt hour production, that's not as helpful because the utility isn't buying it from you for much, so it doesn't make sense, and you're capped at, you're not supposed to go greater than 150%. So you can see the home's going to use about 93% of the solar generation because there's just not that much excess energy to be sent to the grid. We can see in April and May there's going to be a little bit of excess, but you're still going to be seeing an electric bill with this configuration. So we have the backup switch, we have the flat roof, we have the comp out, for those two sections, which there might be some extra cost for that because there's usually a minimum associated with it. Doing those two small roofs, I don't see a roofer coming out for just $1,000 to do those two roofs. Maybe Axia would do them in-house, I'm not 100% sure. I know Energy Service Partners likely would, but a lot of them, it really just depends. So that's just a variable we have to take into account. But we're looking at 8,343 kilowatt hours, which isn't too bad, right? We were estimating around 10,000 kilowatt hours, so it's just shy of that, and we're looking at $33,332. That's still not bad. Again, lifetime savings, $88,000, right? This is without a tax credit. So you're saving $88,000 over 25 years. That number is going to be higher, right? I only have a 4% annual rate increase in this for the utility rate. I'm not factoring in inflation. I'm not factoring anything else. So 4% is pretty modest here. We can definitely expect it to be more than 4% over 25 years. So yeah, $33,000. Old bill, $325, right? We know we're still going to have an electric bill because we didn't max it out. But you're still seeing savings with this investment, right? You're not getting nothing for it. You didn't just put 4 panels on the roof. We put as many as we could with staying in a reasonable budget frame. If your budget was $35,000, I managed to fit enough modules on that roof and stay under $35,000. If your budget was $30,000, this would have been a tough one, right? Because you have special things being on a flat roof and have clay. Now, what's the new bill? I'm thinking like $50, 68. Okay, so $68 a month after making the switch. That's not too bad. You're still saving about $260, $270 a month. And that's only going to increase as the utility rates increase. So over 25 years, you're looking at about $88,000 in savings. That's not that bad. The return on investment, you're at 9 years. You can put your money in the stock market. You buy QQQ, you could buy SPY, you can buy Tesla stock and probably see a better return than this over 25 years. But again, we're only calculating at a 4% annual rate increase on the utility costs. They're going to continue to increase as the demand for electricity continues to rise, as we have more electric vehicles entering the market, as AI data centers continue to get developed, and as robotics. I have an upcoming video, so please be sure to subscribe. Yeah, subscribe, because I have an upcoming video that I'm talking about robotics and the future of energy and our future as an economy, as a society, with robotics involved in it. and it was kind of a little bit of a deep dive. It's a little bit of a longer video than my standard ones, so it's close to like 15 minutes, but it's a really good in-depth conversation that I think you'll have a great time exploring and learning about the robotic space, AI, and energy, and how we might be already in the era of robotics and we don't even realize it. So, of course, if you're looking to get a quote, just reach out at reinnovations.org. I'm here to help you, whether you're a contractor or an electrician, wanting to get into this space, wanting to be able to service people as solar installers sadly go out of business after the tax credit expires. We are expecting that to occur. It's not going to not happen. It's pretty well accepted across the industry that that's going to happen. I think there's going to be actually a wave of issues come January, February. And one of those issues is going to be installations that didn't get done before the December 31st date. If your installer is telling you that the system can be installed after and you can still get the tax credit, it can't. It needs to be installed before that date. It's supposed to be operational as well before that date. You need to be able to provide some type of proof that it was operational, like a screenshot of your monitoring. Now, sure, the IRS may not be asking for specific documentation in terms of, operational. They just want, contract details. But if you got an audit, man, that is not going to be very fun to have to pay back the money that you got as a tax credit. And you're going to be pretty pissed with your installer misleading you, and they probably won't care because they won't be in business. So just kind of keep that in mind, that it needs to be operational, and it should have permission to operate. It should be inspected. Those are two critical things, to have a third-party organization basically verifying that it's operational, not just a screenshot in the monitoring portal. But I think a screenshot in the monitoring portal might be sufficient enough as long as it gets installed. So here you have it. We've done 3 crazy designs today. We did a pretty reasonable one for the region, a 6 kilowatt. That was just on a comp roof, very straightforward. It was under $30,000 with the Tesla Powerwall 3, which if you got that unit, you would get $500 back from Tesla once it's registered. That's available until March 31st of 2026. So if you're interested in getting a quote, and you get your Powerwall, well, if you get 2, you get $1,000, right? So hit me up. I'm here to help you. Make sure you get any incentives you can. It's important to note that Axia by QCell is one of the few companies that I know that actually does the renewable energy certifications. So they complete all that paperwork so you can actually get money for your solar system. That's not done by local installers. You ask a local installer about RECs, they're going to think the solar panel, not the credits that the state has available for it. And these are certificates for your solar system, and there's a lot of paperwork involved. It's a lot of stuff, but Axia actually does it. And even if you buy it cash, they still do this paperwork, and you just get free money in the mail every year for just keeping your system on. That's all you got to do, is make sure it stays connected to the internet to be eligible. I think that's pretty reasonable to get a check. And I want to say it's like $30 a kilowatt. So on a 6 kilowatt system, you're looking at $180. I know it doesn't sound like much, but that's enough to take the family to the movies, to go out to a nice dinner, to buy some wine or something, whatever you want to do. It's free money. I believe they also do the self-generation incentive rebate program. There are battery rebates available. And then you can register for the virtual power plant program as well with them. So with the VPP program, you can get a little bit more for your Powerwalls. So you could get another, $200 for each Powerwall, something like that. I don't remember the exact amount. But yeah, it's free money for participating in these programs and working with the right organizations that handle these rebate programs, because those programs are going to be super critical moving forward. Oh, so Prince asked, well, he's making more of a comment. You are right about the RECs. I asked a big local installer yesterday, and they had no idea. I just did the video. The video just went live talking about it with Axia, because it's a big deal. The organizations that aren't offering I know it's not a lot of money, but every penny counts. And if you can get $200 a year for 25 years, that's $5,000. That's $5,000. That's part of your investment that you're getting back, right? There's no tax credit. This is actual money you get in the mail. I think they send a gift card. But yeah, and the virtual power plants fall in that category as well. So being participants in the VPP program can earn you money, and then working with installers that are developers that handle the self-generation incentive program rebates, that's a bigger one. That one pays around $150, $180 per kilowatt hour. So for like a Tesla Powerwall, right? If on the small residential storage, you would get $2,000, somewhere around $2,000. So if you got $2,000 because the installer did the rebate, if you did the rec forms for you, you could be looking at $5,000 over 25 years. And if you do the VPP, you know, I don't know how long the VPP programs last, but you could be getting another $200 a month for that. So there's money out there. There's still rebates available for people that make these investments. And I think that's really gonna be what sets the industry apart moving forward, and what keeps businesses in business that are here today. Those that don't offer these programs, those that can't familiarize themselves with them, the REX is a very complicated program. Well, I don't know how complicated. I mean, SCHIP's pretty complicated, but it's a complicated program from my understanding, because you need these certificates, not that's a physical one. These certificates are resold to other businesses. So you need to have a buyer lined up for them. So I'm thinking what QCell is, they're buying your certificates and then they bundle them together and then they resell them to other organizations. Tesla does this. That might change. I know Tesla generates close to like $1 billion in revenue. I think it was a couple $1 billion in revenue on their RECs. And they sell them to like GM, to Chevy, to Ford. They sell them to all these other automotive manufacturers. So I don't know who QCell's selling their certificates to, or if they're just buying them for themselves to help offset their carbon emissions costs. It all comes down to carbon emissions. But I know the Trump administration has been making a lot of changes to some of these things, so these programs may not be around forever, but they are here right now, and QCell by Axia is one of them that, you know, allows you to participate. But yeah, I mean, this is all really good information for you as a consumer, because you want to know if your installer is going to handle this stuff for you. If they're not, it's like, hey, are you an SCHIP developer? What's SCHIP? Okay, well, obviously you're not, you know, so that ends that conversation. I would, you know, let's call the next guy. Do you offer SCHIP, you know, app paperwork? Do you do the paperwork for SCHIP? Oh yeah, we handle the self-generation incentive program, no problem. That's what you want to hear. You don't want someone asking you, what's SCHIP? You know, and it's like, okay, well, the self-generation incentive program, never heard of it. Oh, funds aren't available. No, funds are available. Look, I'll pull them up. Let's go back over to my desktop. Let's go self-gen. They just added funding to this. So we want to go to the small residential, and you can go to this website as well. Hang on, let me hide my little thing. So this is selfgenca.com, and then you want to click on program metrics right here at the top. And then there's different utilities in here. So we got Edison, we got SoCal Gas, PG&E. This is SDG&E. So you can see SDG&E is on a wait list. So yeah, their funds are low. They only got $150,000 in funds. Edison, they have $1.2 million in funds available, right? And this is for the small rebate. So how much are they paying on the small rebate? Well, if you're not getting the tax credit, it's 25 cents a kilowatt hour. So I was actually mistaken on that. So it's 25 cents. You got to move the decimal over because it's 250. It's 25 cents a watt hour. So it's $250 per kilowatt hour. So 250 times 13.5. You're looking at $33,000, $34,000. That's a big jump. That's an extra $1,400 bucks. SoCal, you can see they're all in step 5. So this is the lowest the rate is. Now, that's large scale. As we go into small residential, which most people will be in, that's $150. So never mind, I jumped the gun on that. we're at 15 cents, so that's $150 per kilowatt hour. So you're back at $2,000 per Powerwall. Now they have these other programs that they've added. These are some new programs that previously weren't here. The one that most people are familiar with and hear about is the Equity Resilience Program. This program pays $1,000 per kilowatt hour. So on a Powerwall, you can be looking at $13,500. It does get adjusted because it's based upon the discharge rate of the battery. You have 2 hours to discharge 100% of the battery for 100% of the rebate, and then every 2 hours after that, it reduces 25%. So, and then I don't think you get anything after 6 hours. So, yeah, most people get around $750, I would say. I've done quite a few of the applications, but it's important to note, not a lot of people qualify for this rebate. So if we go see how much funds are in the Equity Resilience Program, SoCal Gas, there's not a lot available. It's still open, but look, they got $500,000. But look at Edison, there's $15 million sitting right here. $15 million sitting there in battery rebates if you qualify for the Equity Resilience. So what is it that takes to qualify? Well, for one, you need to be in a Tier 2, Tier 3 fire zone. If you're not in a Tier 2, Tier 3 fire zone, forget about it. You're not going to get this rebate. You need to be in an area where it's a high fire risk. And on top of that, you need to have experienced 2 or more public safety power shutoffs, PSPSs. So if you're in the fire zone, you've probably had 2 or more public safety power shutoffs. And then you need to either be on one or the other of these conditions. So it's one or the other. So you have to have these 2, and then you need to meet one of these criteria. Which is you need to be on medical baseline, have a life-threatening medical condition, or be on a well. You could be on low income as well, but if you're low income, I don't see how you're affording this system in the first place. You got me. I've seen all the people complaining about their food stamps on TikTok getting $4,000 a month. They got like 6 kids living there. I'm like, what in the world? Man, there's been it's like you haven't worked. One person said they hadn't worked in like 10 years. I'm like, what? I'm pretty sure it wasn't designed for you to live off of it, but I know there's people that really need it, so I really hope they figure it out. And at the same time, maybe figure out this other crap that's appearing, because these people are pretty vocal about, their living situations. But yeah. PG&E, there's over $13 million available. San Diego, again, it's on a wait list. It's lottery based. So when it's on the wait list, man, it's lottery based. I had one client, it took 3 years for him to get his rebate. But there's funds there. And yeah, if you're in that equity resilience area, definitely check it out. Prince got a good question. If you are on NEM2 for non-export system, do you have to agree to NEM3 to get SGIP rebate? Yes and no. So for the equity resilience rebate, you are not required to change your net metering application. Remember, NEM3, you don't even have to have, for the equity resilience, you don't even have to have a solar system. It's really for batteries for people with life-threatening medical conditions in high fire zones, on well pumps, right? It's about people that are in rural parts that could be severely affected during a power outage. So you don't have to be on any special NEM program. For the small residential storage, which everyone qualifies automatically, as long as you get a battery, this rebate you can get. It does have a cap, so it's not like you can just keep adding batteries and get an unlimited amount of funds here. There's a cap to it. I think it's like 30 kilowatt hours or something. So 2 Powerwalls would cap you out, 2 Franklins would cap you out, 2 Q-cells would cap you out, 3 Enphase IQ10s would cap you out. Anyways, that one you have to be on NEM3. The question in regards to the non-export, I haven't really gotten any true confirmation on that. It's a little, kind of falls in a little bit of a interesting part, but you should be fine with the non-export because that that new system is technically on NEM3 and the old system is on NEM2. So, you know, the rebate just says you're supposed to be on NEM3 because in NEM3 you are supposed to be participating in grid services. So you are kind of doing VPP with that. But it's not like it's right in the handbook. I've gone through the handbook a bunch of different times, and it's not really clear on the non-export. So you're more likely better off just being, at least for small residential, being under NEM3. Just expect that you're going to have to be under NEM3. If you're under equity resilience and you have an existing solar system and you don't have batteries and you're in a high fire zone, you got a life-threatening medical condition, or you're on a well, or you've had power shutoffs, like, and you meet these criteria, get a battery, because this rebate is for people like you. So you're welcome, Prince. I hope that kind of helped. But yeah, you don't have to change your NEM program under the equity resilience. So that's good to know, at least in that regards. That is very clear in the handbook. It does say that. The non-export kind of came a little later. I just don't feel like the handbook has been updated to account for it. So we might see more details about that in the 2026 handbook, but we'll see. But we came up on our hour. It's been great with everyone. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe to the channel. And you know, if you're interested in making the switch to clean renewable energy, I'm Dale with Renewable